What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sports Show with Bob Spino. I'm John Lavinia,
And
and
I'm
we're here to
Bob.
talk sports.
Can you hear me, John?
I can hear you, Bob. So we're missing Rob and Tony today, but we wanted to give you some coverage on got the Oilers game 7 tonight, Bob. Who you got? Florida?
Uh,
Edmonton?
before we get into that, let's talk about the week that passed because we did miss quite a bit. First of all, I did go to Boston. I was at Game Five, and it was amazing. It was so loud there, and everybody was happy, and everybody was dancing around. The girls were dancing around, and somebody came up to me and went, "I'm scared." I go, "Don't be." And he goes, "Do you bet?" I go, "Very little." I go, "But if I were you, I'd take all the money you have in the bank and put it on Boston." And he goes, "You think they'll cover the 6 points?" And I said, "Yeah, they're going to win by 20. They end up winning by 18. They were up by 21 at halftime." But there was no surprise. I had no doubts. They were the best team all year. I said it. Sorry, I had to beat you so bad. I know you're the Maverick fan. I don't see one Maverick thing you're wearing right now. Um, but by the way, I'm a Celtic fan. Anybody that doesn't know, so that was really really good. I had a lot of fun. Like I said, 10 times this year they beat teams by 30, 2 times by 50, and 2 times by 40, and one of those were the Bucks by 40. So they weren't losing. They were deep. And there's a draft coming up. I'd love to see Boston get Zach Edey. I would move up 10 spots to get him because he's not going to go in the top 10, which is crazy. The guy averages 28 points a game, 28.4 actually. And he's the perfect backup for Porzingis in case he should get hurt again, God forbid. But they're the best team. They were the deepest team. And I mean this from my heart. Everybody that said Tatum and Brown were chokes, go screw because they were never chokes. You guys are a bunch of idiots, especially at ESPN. You guys you blow more smoke than a chimney out of control, and you guys cause a lot of trouble that you shouldn't be causing. And I know you want everybody to think, out of the box, but people in the nut house do that. You need to stop. Why don't you just tell them the truth and get it over with? You know, there's good teams and there's bad teams, and the Celtics were the best team. And I'm sure LeBron's sucking on it right now, which is a beautiful thing. And we were laughing about all the Celtic fans. Oh, well, wonder what LeBron's doing tonight. So we were joking about it, and because we know how much he loves them, right? Just tell the
Right.
truth for obvious reasons, which is ridiculous. Um, but all because he's so anti-white. But that's another story for another day. And uh, And I'm sure the Lakers love it, all the fans, because they got it right up their noses. Because now we have 18 titles again, and you guys are behind us like you always been. It took a COVID cracked year for you to finally catch us, a year that they should have banned because the teams didn't play most of the year. So it was ridiculous. But anyway, I loved it. Me being a Celtic fan. Sorry, John, we had to take you out. Jason Kidd.
Listen, they were the better team. We all knew it. That's why I picked them to win it all
Yeah.
at the start of this. I mean, they were clearly the best team. They were the deepest team in the NBA, period. I mean, they had guys coming out at, Pritchard with that shot, multiple times. That was amazing,
He
you
did it.
know.
He did it early in the series, and the minute he let it go, I knew that baby was going. He commented on it today. He goes, "I willed it in," and I understand that when you're good, and when you're a shooter, you will certain things. You make those things go in somehow, and he did. And I knew the minute he let it go, that thing was in, and he banked it in. And that run at the end of the second quarter, that 14-0 run, was was what iced it. But you know what? Um, and Porzingis did get in there. They put him in there a little bit in the last game. He really couldn't do all that much. He was pretty banged up, but he did rest long enough for that month to dominate that game one. And I called it. I called it right down the line. I said if one of our stars get hurt, we're still going to win. Porzingis got hurt. Um, I said that we were deeper than everybody else and we can win without one star. They did. They did not complain the whole time. Porzingis missed most of the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Knicks, oh, if we had this, yeah, you're still 2 years away, even healthy. You weren't beating us. Same thing with everybody else. The Bucks would have gave us a hard time. That would have been it. But we had Game 7 at home. We probably would have took them out because we were deeper this year. And we have one of their ex-great players, Drew Holiday. The other thing I said was I want to end or Oklahoma or Dallas. because I knew those teams were the two weakest teams. No, if I don't want to offend, anybody, in Minnesota, because you guys are about as soft and weak as it gets. Because Carl Anthony Towns is, I've seen tougher teddy bears. I really have. And and Gobert, you're not good. You play one side of the ball. You're not that good. If you were that good, Utah would have never got rid of you. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. And that's a good lesson for everybody. I learned that when I was a kid because they traded Dominique Wilkins from Atlanta, who was a good player. And I said to my brother, who's been in the NBA, who worked there for 5 years, oh man, Seattle got a good move. They got a good player. And he went, he goes, they thought Doc Rivers was the best player on that team, because he played with Neek. And he goes, always remember this, Bob. If you're going to trade a superstar, there's something wrong with the superstar. He's not that good because a real team would never do it. They would never trade any team, I should say, would never do it. Trade a great player. You just don't. That's like if they traded Mickey Mantle. Can you imagine that in the middle of his career? Think the Yankees were going to do that, John? No, no. And I learned something from it, and I've used it through the years. And I mean, I definitely saw it here because Gobert is just not very good. And people are like, oh, this one or that one. Or, no, they don't trade. You don't trade a great player. You just don't. And but hey, they did. Utah didn't think he was that great. So and and the problem is because there's so much films now that you watch, you only see their highlights. You don't realize the other nights they stunk out. The only people that know that are the fans of the team that watch them every night. They know how good they are and how bad they are, you know. But if that guy is playing in Utah and he should happen to come to New York, or in this case to Minnesota, those fans don't know it. They're just like, oh, he's good, he's good. No. And by the way, I heard tonight that Donovan Mitchell wants to stay with the Cavs. He's going to sign an extension. Um, JJ Redick. Now, supposedly, somebody told me that they have a podcast. Did you tell me, John? I guess.
JJ Redick, yeah, he's got. I mean, I don't know what he's going to be doing now. Now that he's coaching, I think he's going to be doing a lot less of the podcasting, a lot less of the in the booth stuff. Clearly, because he's so far his resume has volunteer fourth grade head coach and Lakers head coach. That's his resume. So
Volunteer
he's
volunteer fourth. I would have thought it'd been lower than that. I would have been kindergarten below. You know.
Well, that's his resume up to this point. So he's got his work cut out for him. I mean, JJ Redick's a great mind of the game. He was always, fundamentals, he was a great shooter. I mean,
Yeah.
he really when he came into the NBA, it seemed like it was overwhelming for him, and then he adapted to it. So, he learns and adapts. I think that he has a relationship with LeBron already. So I don't know. I'm interested to see how it shakes up, but LeBron definitely can't ask for a new head coach halfway through the season. This guy's your buddy, and you got to give him a shot.
Well, the next question is: do you think LeBron's going to stay? Because I don't know. What if he doesn't? Then JJ's out on an island by himself. And you know what? Just because they were together, and even if they have a podcast, once he becomes coach, all of a sudden you're not friends anymore. And if and LeBron doesn't like being told what to do. And I heard people on the air, like I'm driving around listening to the radio, and the media people were yelling about Reddick, that he's not a nice guy, that they've actually other media people have gotten into fights with him, and he's very rude. Um, I'm sure that LeBron would probably fit right in with that. But if the thing about people like LeBron, if you're rude to everybody else, he won't care. But if you start getting rude to him, he's going to care. He's going to get mad. And I don't know. So is it going to work? I don't think so. Are the Lakers going to win next year? No. Are they going to win anytime soon? No. Do they have good picks? No. They are where I've always wanted them to be, in many hell. Now, if we can get them to advance them to major hell, that'd be better. Because I hate the Lakers. But
Well, if LeBron leaves, and it's the Anthony Edward or Anthony Davis Island there, and Anthony Davis Island is
Yeah.
always filled with injuries. I think that that is where major hell is.
Yes, well, that's right. That's right down the road from Gilligan's Island. Only nobody ever got hurt on that one. But let me tell you something. They're not. He'll leave. He'll be building that boat with the professor and the skipper. Because Davis will want out of there if LeBron leaves. He will, and then it'll all fall apart, which is beautiful. I mean, a Celtic fan couldn't ask for anything more. We won it, and they suck. Does it get better than that? I mean, and like I had my friends saying, "Oh, it's fixed, it's fixed." That they're gonna make it go seven and this, and I just blew it off because I'm just like, look, I know a lot of shady things are going on in sports, but you know what? Boston's just too good, and they're gonna win. It doesn't matter. I mean, the only thing Denver could have given us a run, but we would have beat them too because they weren't as good as last year. Would it have gone seven? Probably. But game seven was in Boston where we had won. Yeah, you bet we would have. We weren't losing this time.
I think the Celtics may have even had a team meeting and said, "Hey, you guys want to win this at home?"
Oh, could very well be. By the way, I kind of wish Rob was on a little bit because the first thing he was going to say, and he did goes, Bob, you picked it right. You said Boston in five. I go, yeah, because I knew, like, I almost said Boston in. My brother tried to talk me to saying Boston in six. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it myself. And Boston in four, yeah, they could have done that, but most teams do not sweep. And you play, you get that one game at home where you play really great and you blow them out. And sure as heck, in game four, the Mavs blew them out. You know, you always have that one close one and one, blowout in the first four games in each place. And that's pretty much what happened because in game one, Boston blew the Mavs out. They killed them. So I thought it was going five, and that's exactly what it did. And I got to tell you, too, we had so much fun up there. Unfortunately, the Uber driver that drove us back to the hotel, the next people that he picked up was the Boston Celtics. And my friend actually knew him. I should have just turned around and texted him back and said, and he ended up partying with him. The guy that took us to the hotel. I would have I know the trainer. Come back and pick me up. If not, I'll just tell me where you are and I'll walk there. But you know, Missoula is a great coach and he's a better person. He sticks up for things that are right. Here's something you don't know, everybody, but I'm going to tell it. Missoula, before every game, nobody was in the building. He'd be by himself at the Garden. He'd walk around the court, square. He's square. And he had rosary beads in his hand. He's praying the rosary before every game. And somebody tried to give him guff about, some reporter tried to give him guff about, I don't know if it was the black white issue or whatever. And he went, let's talk about all the Christians are being persecuted. I don't hear you guys talking about that. I'm so proud of him. He's and the other thing he said was, I'll never forget this comment. Some girl asked him because they were in England, the Celtics. You meet the royal family? He goes, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. No, I didn't get to run into him. That's the only royal family there is. Good for you, buddy. Way to tell the truth. You're my coach, and you're with my team, and we got another ring, and we're gonna keep winning them because we're young, unlike the Garnett team, and we could just keep going. Just get Zach Edey, and we're gonna keep going. Trust me, no one's taking us out. We are the Celtics. We are basketball. Screw the Lakers. So I know I had Jamal on, but let's be real. If Len Bias had lived, you wouldn't have went the rest of the time because we were right there with you before he died. We would have kicked. We would have stuck it right to Magic. And by the way, hey Magic, that's for you, pal. Remember the last time we were in Golden State? Oh, hope the Boston don't win, so we could. Yeah, okay, we did this time. How does that one taste going down? Huh? Yeah, that's what I thought. And by the way, Jabbar was the best player on that team, not you. Just to let you know. Just to let you know. UCLA, not Michigan State. Out. And but
So we have a comment.
uh-huh.
So we have Celtics will fall apart in 4 years. How long do you think they have at this state of excellence,
Uh
Bob?
Well, according to you, they have 4 years. um, there's no once you're good, there's no telling. You just don't got to make major overhauls. All you have to do is just kind of tweak and do it very gently at that. Because if you tweak, I mean, the Mets tweaked in the '80s. Like they were great, and then all of a sudden they got a guy like Kevin McReynolds for Kevin Mitchell. Mitchell was tough. I mean, he grew up in the streets of San Diego. Kevin McReynolds was a softie. He had better stats, but we were never the same once we got rid of Kevin. You have to do just little things. 4 years. So what you're telling me is we're going to have 22 titles? Is that what you're telling me? Well, we already got 18, so four more. Oh, yeah, that's 22. Okay, yeah, I can live with that. Then nobody will catch us because the way. Can we ask this guy who's your team? I want to know if you want to get back to us.
Well, we'll see if he gets back to us.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, I mean, what will it take? Because I mean, Drew Holiday,
I
great
love Drew.
player, and he was like kind of the heart and soul, especially that defense this year. Between him and White, I mean, they made this team the number one defense in the league. I mean, they were
Yeah.
really special. Porzingis was great, but the injuries at the end. I mean, they still were a great defense in the playoffs without Porzingis. So what do they need? Because Drew Holiday is not getting any younger, and they're going to need some key players. You think Pritchard's going to fill the role as he gets older?
I think Richard can do it. He needs to change some of the stuff he's doing and go back to more of what he did at Oregon when he's in college. Shoot the ball, look to make good passes because I think he's a great passer, and he can shoot. And don't pass up easy shots when you're going to the basket. Don't dribble through the lane and dribble out the other end. If that lane is open, take that shot because he has an amazing, amazing touch, and he's tough. But I do think we can get another guard. I think we need a center though. I love Derek White, and you're right about the defense, John. You know what makes me laugh? All this time they bragged about Marcus Smart and how great he was, but now they're all the guards are playing defense, not just one guy, and they're not doing it in your face type of D. They're just playing good team D, and it's quiet. They're doing it quietly, and it's like I said, you only can play D in basketball in the big moments. You cannot do it the whole game like Smart tried to do. You tire yourself out, and you never work on your offense, and that's why Marcus Smart, in my mind, was an incomplete player. He wasn't good enough on offense. It took him a few years to learn how to make foul shots too, because when he first got there, he's pretty lousy actually. And but I do think we can get a guard. But we can get that in the second round. I want Edie is what I want. Then we could just trade for a guard. And Holiday isn't that old. He's not 30 yet. So and he just re-upped for like 3 or 4 years, I think. Boston gave him an extension.
So so he said Celtics are his team.
Okay.
He's just, worried about looks like the contract issues are gonna come up and other teams are gonna be able to beat him out. The depth will drop off as you have to pay your stars, more money and whatnot. It's kind of inevitable. I mean, do they go the route of like Brady and try to not need the super max and keep Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum together,
Well,
or you know,
well, you know what though? Boston already kind of handled that because they gave them both the extensions already, and they gave White wants an extension. He's getting it. Boston doesn't care, and Pritchard just got one last year, and Holidays just got one this year. So they're keeping all their main pieces in place, which in my mind is the right way to do it. Okay, because like I always said, the big pieces are hard to get. The fill-ins around the big pieces are easier to get. Plus, they cost less. Once you have the stars in place, all you got to do is rotate like a merry-go-round or a Ferris wheel because it's going to get real easy. And that's what Boston's doing. They're smart enough to do it. And the one thing I like, everybody seems to like each other. See, and they're all staying. They don't want to go. That night, John, they were supposed to fly after the game to Miami. They ended up in the Uber with the guy that dropped us off because they wanted to spend one more night together. They went out together, and then they went to Miami and came back. And I heard that the coach jumped off the duck boat and started high fiving the fans and everything during the parade. But the other thing he did, which I like, he walked up and down the streets of Boston the next day with the trophy in his hand and let everybody take pictures with it and hold it. That was great. You don't see coaches do that. You want to see Phil Jack? Get them. He would not do that. But no, Missoula did that. So, and what's this guy's name? Because I can't see who's asking questions here.
So he said we'll be lucky to see one more chip from a similar team to this. That's where I'm certain the injuries will come into play for sure. Wear and tear on the star is going to kill us.
Well, thanks for being so positive. But you can't assume injury. Every team's going to get hurt. We got hurt this year and we still won. Um,
I wouldn't say they were big injuries though. I mean,
well,
Porzingis, yeah, I mean
that
that
was
hurts, but
no, that was he didn't play the whole play. He got hurt in game 2 of the playoff against Miami. He didn't play again until the last game, last series.
you expect that. You built it. If you're the Celtics and you bring in Porzingis, knowing his history, you're a fool if you don't expect that at this point. You
You
got to
expect
be really dumb.
it's not that you expect it, but you're worried about it. I mean, you
You
can't
have to have a
you
backup
can't
plan,
say he's going to be
otherwise
hurt
you're
every
dumb.
year. Has he ever gone a whole year without being hurt?
No.
Are you sure about
Let's
that?
I'm interested. I'm gonna look up his stats.
Yeah. And by the way, what's the guy's name that's calling in? Or what?
Um Ixador Crane.
It could do like okay, I got it. Well, thanks for asking the question. You can ask all you want, and we encourage more people to do it. Actually, so
Yeah, the most games he's played in the season, rookie year, 72.
that's okay. But even well, now they rest you, so some of those games might have been just a rest. In the old
Yeah,
days,
next year 66, and
okay,
then he hadn't played since, last year on Washington he played 65.
okay, well,
So
65 is okay.
he's averaging half a season realistically. I mean, he's averaging 50
Well, wait,
games here.
well, 41 though is half a season though.
He's averaging somewhere between 41 and 55 here a season realistically. I mean, it's like 50 a season here.
Okay. Well, I mean, some of them you can't because, like, okay, like the 66 and 70, he was on teams that weren't very good. So there might have been games where they didn't play, especially at the end of the year. They didn't want to bother, you know,
Yeah, I
or
mean, he missed a full year.
right,
So, that one doesn't even count when he was
right,
23, but
right, right.
and he's 28 now. So in basketball years, I mean, especially for big's legs, they always get roughed up, a lot quicker. So I wonder how many more he's got in him.
Well, I don't know. Well, that's why I'm saying we need Zach Edey. See, we need that backup, and he's not a backup. See, he could start, and on that team, he won't even have to do very much. He'll be playing against backups because he'll be coming off the bench. He'll be killing them. And there's no centers in the league, so he's big. It makes me look at he's slow. Yeah. Well, the rest of the league has big centers, and they all stink. That's the part you're forgetting. I mean, believe me, Luca's slow. He's doing fine. And the now that I really watched him close, and I've seen him before, he's really a good player. I mean, he is. But don't you dare compare him to Bird or anybody that played in the 80s, no matter who they were, because he's not that. And it's always unfair to compare one to the other. I don't know why people do it because they want to think out of the box and want to blow smoke, but don't do it because it's not fair. And believe me, he's not Larry Bird, and he's not even close. And neither was Dirk, by the way.
Well, I don't know who's comparing him to that because
Well, they
I mean,
are.
first of all, Larry Bird's not shooting from the logo because he knows that's bad basketball. You know what I mean? Like these guys now, they want to shoot from the logo. It's
I
not
know.
good basketball.
Well, just for the record, if he ever did want to shoot from the logo, he's bagging that shot.
But he's
Larry,
not gonna. He's
huh?
not gonna.
No, I know, but I'm just telling you, if he ever did, he'd bag that one too. Because you know what? He
He
could do
he
anything.
knows that that's foolish.
Oh, I know.
You know,
Oh, I know. And that's one reason they're not alike, but there's a million. People don't know how great Bird was. They don't. You know what? Jordan said it. He was the toughest player I ever played against, and Jordan never beat him. Ever beat him.
Yeah,
Fact,
so
fact
Crane
is the only team.
agreed. He's like, we had one injury, it was Porzingis, and he's going to get worse next year. As he gets older, and
Yeah, well,
they're going to need to find more depth again. But who's going to be the next team up? Say Celtics can't win for whatever reason. Who's the next team in the league up and coming here?
well, okay. Well, first of all, it's not just one injury because he was the main guy. He's 20 points we didn't have, and he's the
He
center.
wasn't the main guy. He was third.
No, no, he was the main guy because you know what? In the other year, John, how's Dallas doing? you know, but anyway, but like he is the main guy because what did we win before he got there? And people were calling Tatum and Brown a choke. We needed that center we never had. Well, Robert Williams wasn't the main guy, obviously. He had
If
20
you're gonna
points a game.
no stop,
Big
you're not
wall.
gonna give this chip to Porzingis. He's a piece of it, but
Yes, but he is.
Tatum played a lot better.
Look,
Brown
okay.
even played a lot
No,
better.
I
I mean,
no, no, I
Tatum was
get that.
damn near
I am not
MVP.
counting Brown and Tatum in this. What I'm telling you is the two of them, and Brown's better than Tatum. Okay. And it's Tatum's
I
fault
agree.
because Tatum won't go to the basket. He won't refine his skills. He's too erratic at times. But if he really did that, then the two of them were really unstoppable. But the problem is we didn't have that third score. And they were calling Brown and Tatum chokes before he got there. So from that perspective, he is the main guy. And we did not have him in the playoff. And we never complained. We just went out there and won. Now definitely had a deeper bench. We didn't have Holiday before this, and White is amazing because we finally got rid of Marcus Smart, so now he's playing, full time.
If you want to do this, who's the main guy?
Yeah.
Realistically,
Wait a
it's
minute,
Drew
he has
Holiday.
huh?
If you want to do
I
this,
know.
who's the main guy? Who's the new guy? Because Porzingis is new and Drew Holiday's
Oh
new.
no, I love Drew. And by the
Drew
way,
Holiday is more important than Porzingis.
John, he's UCLA. You know I love Drew, but
Okay, so
but
you agree he is more important than Porzingis.
um no, because as great. And by the way,
That's craziness.
no, 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 because I love him and he's just a bigger part. I'm not saying he's not, but without Porzingis, we probably don't win. We don't because not if everybody else is healthy. We don't, and he gets say he got hurt, okay, and everybody else stayed healthy. We wouldn't have got by Milwaukee, not without him. No, no,
Oh,
no.
you're talking about if Milwaukee was fully healthy
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
but that's not how it worked out, Bob.
I know, but I'm just telling you how important he is, though. And I do agree with you. By the
But
way, in
this
Game
is if
Five,
ands or buts. We're talking about like
uh,
what actually happened.
in Game Five, he led the team in rebounds that night. Drew Holiday, he did. He had 11. He did. I love him, and I was bragging about him in the stands to everybody. I go, this guy was great. Don't forget, he actually has a ring. He won in Milwaukee already. The man is just stellar. He's a
All right,
great.
my top five most important Celtics. Jalen Brown's number one, Tatum's number two,
Mhm.
Drew Holiday. No, I'm gonna say Derek White is number three,
I love Derek White.
then Drew Holiday, then Porzingis.
Oh, I wouldn't put him that low. But you know what? No, he would be above White, and I love White. And why don't you just put Pritchard in front of him, get it over with? No, and
Dude, I like Porzingis. I try to draft him on all my fantasy teams. He is so skilled. Watching him play, it's amazing what he can do at that height. But he's just on that team that's filled with that level of depth. I mean, and how they play and what they need to win, the things that they do to win the game. I mean, being a guy that can shoot from the logo that's 7'3" is not the guy that is the most important. Yeah, he does other things, but like Derek White puts up more blocks than Porzingis on any given night. I mean, he
oh,
puts
I
out
love
more
Derek
steals.
White.
He's the
No, no,
guy.
no.
You know what
Well,
I
that's
mean?
what I'm
Like,
telling you. I love the fact he's starting now. We got rid of Smart because I love White. And again, the night when you guys, well, I'm saying you guys because you were a Net fan back then, but when Harden ended up going to the Nets, that was the same week that we got White, and my friends are calling me. They're all Net fans. Oh, White's really going to help you. We got Harden. Ah. Yeah, he really did help. And meanwhile, Harden's going. I don't know how to win. I suck. I mean, you know, I like, but yeah, he was really good in San Antonio too. Like, I mean, as I kept reading more and more about what he did in San Antonio when we first got him, I'm like, oh shoot, this guy is pretty good, you know, and he's more than pretty good, John. You're totally right. But you see, we have that bench that we never had now, and that was the other thing I said all year. We have a bench, and we got so many players we could throw at you. You can't. That's what it is. You can't stop us all. You stop us in one place, and that's why I always say offense is so important because all those guys can score. When the Celtics won titles, we always could score. When the Yankees won World Series, all you guys could hit. And there was so many of you in the lineup, you just couldn't stop them all. And even if you stopped the stars, that was the nights when the backups were hitting. You just couldn't do it. And that's why it's so important to flood the system, like I say, with great players. And but Porzingis, you know what? You can't. He averaged over 20 points a game. You can't, and he led our team in rebounds pretty much. You can't say that he's not important because he definitely was. And um, we don't win without him. We didn't win without him. We didn't. And they were saying, and I'm glad we did because everybody was calling Brown and Tatum a choke before this series. I had a guy going, "Oh, the Celtics," you know, he kept doing it at the Met game, making fun of me. He actually was delusional enough to think that the Knicks were going to beat Boston. Yeah, good luck with that.
If Porzingis didn't play in the championship series, Boston wins in six.
um, maybe not John, because you got to remember how dominant he was in game one. He definitely changed the whole, and he got the all moment. Yeah, I don't know about that. Because if you lose game one at home, it changes everything. So,
Remember, you got to remember how poorly the Mavs were shooting, especially Kyrie in Boston. He didn't show up.
right.
Kyrie was, I mean, he showed up to brick shots. He was non-existent. You shut down 1B. Boston shut down 1B, and they're a one team. They're a 1A, 1B team. You know, the levels that the Mavs have here, I mean, who are they going to go to? Derek Jones is going to take over the game? Get out of here. Who's going to take over? Derek Lively? Come on, really? Gafford? No, those are lob guys. Those are defense guys. Those are interior post players that didn't really have a lot of post production because the swarming defense of the Celtics, I mean, they were double teaming everybody and coming off the double teams, getting right back to their guy faster than any other team that the Mavs have played. And that shut them down. It shut down the Mavs. But Kyrie, he didn't step up. He needed to step up, and he didn't.
Well, he hasn't since he left Boston. He's a friend. You know what's funny? In game four, my friend who, the one I had the bet with, now my friend Dave has got to be a Celtic fan because he was a Net fan. And the bet went, if we win it all, you have to leave the Nets, join the Celtics. And if I lost, then I have to become a different fan. I'm never allowed to root for Boston. That did not happen. I won the bet. But um, after the Mavs wiped out Boston, he texted me, beat that Lucky down, you know, the mascot. And they did. They crushed us. And I go, nobody beats Lucky down. We're kicking in the next game. And, but, and we did. So, look, they, we don't win without Porzingis. I mean, we wouldn't have 64 wins without Porzingis. We wouldn't have.
Probably not.
No, definitely not. And if we didn't have game seven at home, and we lose game one without Porzingis, I mean, you know, we don't win it. We needed him. So you cannot overlook him. But I do want a good backup, like I said. And by the way, what was the other question that he asked? He asked about
Wants
who
to
the
know
next.
who's the next team up? Like,
Yeah.
is it the Timberwolves that are,
Um,
next year? Like, is
I
it
don't
the
believe
Thunder?
okay. The Thunder. I don't look. Well, the Thunder have to get more than one player
Well, that
because
not them specifically, but which team is if the Celtics are not in the league next year, who's the team that wins a championship?
okay. Oh, okay. Well, that's a different question, but you got to start looking back at the Bucks. I mean, they're good as long as Giannis is there. I mean, they are getting older though. The players around him are getting older. Phoenix is shot. Um, Durant and Golden State shot too. They're just about done. The Lakers are nowhere to be found. Um, you might have to look at Philly a little bit, although I don't know if I believe in them. Joel's a great player, but here, another guy that can't stay healthy. And I don't know if he's good enough to win it all. I don't. That's kind of a tough statement to make, but I mean, he's good, but I don't know how good. And Philly doesn't have enough of a team around him. Uh, the Knicks could really be good, but they really don't have. See, Hartenstein's a joke. You know, Frankenstein. That's really what they should call him. He's from. They're both from Germany. Oh, but no, I don't believe in in him. Um, I just think the Knicks are a bunch of. To me, it seems like everybody plays the same position with them except for Brunson. They're all kind of the same player. So I don't know. But they are making a move. They're just not good enough. They're not good enough to beat the better teams. Not yet, anyway.
Well,
Uh,
it's kind of tough for them with Randall being out, I'd argue, because he was their number two guy,
yeah, but you know what?
realistically.
All the Knicks fans are screaming, "Get rid of him! Get rid of him!" So
Well,
I
because
don't.
of how far they got without him.
And they're saying he's not good enough because I think that the big knock on him was when you pass him the ball, he forgets about his teammates and he won't pass it back. But to me, I think he's pretty good. See, I kind of like him, and but the Knicks fans, they're pretty hard on him. So um, maybe the Clippers, I don't believe. Well, they can't get it together. And by the way, I heard tonight Paul George wants out, or they're going to trade him or whatever. So again, but you know, uh, that team has the pieces, but they can't. They're a bunch of one on ones. Denver will probably be back.
I was gonna say if Denver can
Yeah,
get one more piece,
yeah,
I think they're the front runner.
yeah.
I think if Denver gets Paul George, it's over.
Well, no, we're the front runner, John. But they're going to give us the. I thought I didn't want to play them. I knew they were going to give us a hard time if we played them. Would they have beaten us this year? No, because they didn't have the same. I know they had a better record, but they didn't have the same tenacity as they did the year before when they won it, and that showed. How can you lose Game 7 at home? Get blown, and they lost what 2 or 3 games at home, I think, to Minnesota, didn't they? I think, yeah. In Minnesota, I don't believe in. They're soft. No, I don't believe in them. Um, most of those Western teams, they're bragging about, but they're not that good. They're not. I mean, who's gonna win out there?
Well, the Mavs, if they can get a third guy,
You don't have a center.
well, they have Gafford and Lively, who are those kind of they're those spring forward. I mean, Lively's 7 foot.
Didn't you just trade Gafford? You traded one of them. I thought
No,
so. I could be wrong.
Gafford was on the team in the championship.
No,
We traded him during the championship
no, after the championship, I think you traded him after it was over.
immediately.
I think. I could
Are
be
trades
wrong.
even allowed at that point?
I don't know. I thought that's what I read. Or maybe you're thinking about trading. I don't know. But I don't know. But I mean, hey, it's you're a 2 man. See, you know what? I wasn't scared because you were a 2 man team, okay, and Oklahoma was a 1 man team, and we had a whole team. So I knew I wasn't scared at all. I knew we were gonna if we played you guys. When I went up there, everybody was smiling and happy, and the guys were the ones that were nervous. The girls were like, "Yeah, we got this." And I go, "The girls are right. You got this because this is something I knew the whole year. I never doubted they were going to win, and I picked them on this show, and I picked them off this show because um, it was just our year. There are just certain years when and I've seen a few. The '83 Sixers, I knew. The '84 Celtics and '86 Celtics, I knew. The Lakers wouldn't have beat us if Magic didn't go get the rules changed, but in '85 and '7. But yeah, or if Danny Ainge hit the foul shot he was supposed to make. But yeah, um,
I like the T Wolves if they can move on from Rudy Gobert
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
and
not very
maybe get a couple role players for him because they have enough of the scoring really.
right.
And if Edwards can take the next step, I think if Paul George goes to the right spot, I think he makes that team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he goes to the Mavs, if he goes to Denver, if he goes to, OKC, back to OKC, I think he could even do some damage there, you know, because they have, SGA, but, everybody else is kind of like just super crazy athletic with talent, but nobody's consistent, which could be good to have around Paul George. So, on his off nights, he can kind of lean on whoever's hot, but, he can step up when all those guys go cold, which happens for them.
Well, um, I don't believe in Paul George. I mean, look, he's a pretty good player, and he's been around a lot of teams. Again, when you're on that many different teams, you're good, but you're not that great. And I don't think him going, leaving the Clips to go to somebody else is going to make that much of a difference.
He
Um,
needs to accept being a role player more so than the superstar, I think is the next step for him.
yeah, but you don't want that because I was listening to that on the radio, and they're talking about giving. He wants a max extension. He wants all this big money. That's not a role player. And he's getting old. So why would any team do it now? He's not a kid anymore. So, you know, but he'll find some dummy team that'll give him the money. Maybe a team that's not that good and they need somebody to put, fans in the seats, because there's a lot of nights we don't play well. So, but that's going to get less and less as he gets older. Those nights, those given nights. But he's never won nothing. See, this guy, you know what makes me laugh? These guys brag about all these players. They never won nothing. A lot of them. And they're getting all this money. They're not that good. They don't deserve that much money. If you don't win, you don't deserve it. And I don't care, but I don't know.
Miami's a good team if they can get another big. Like Bam Adebayo is good, but like he can't play the whole game. You know what I mean? Every time
Yeah.
he comes off the floor, there's a giant gap in that team, and they need somebody to fill it. It just becomes like a disaster down low.
Um, you know what? And we don't even know if Butler's gonna stay. That's number one. He kind of wants out. That's what it seems like. And he's leaning towards what, Philly again, I guess. Um, he knows he can't win there. And like they're not gonna win at all. And he knows that. So, and he's a little different. He's going to end up going somewhere else, I think. And the big thing is, where's LeBron? What's LeBron going to do? I think he's out. Everybody seems all of a sudden we're thinking he's still there, but we're going to find out this week actually. So, because this is when they announce if they're going to stay or go free agent or whatever right around the draft. So, um, I think he's going to leave unless somebody talks him into
Who do you
staying.
think drafts his son? Because that's where he's going to go.
Yeah, son. His lousy, lousy son who can't play worth a lick. Um, a desperate team. That would be, you know what? My guess is he's probably going to go to a good team because that's where LeBron wants to go. If a lousy team drafts his son, LeBron's not going to go play with his son. I don't think so. Unless LeBron signs for 1 year and says, I'm out next year, you know, because yeah, he could. But I there was even rumors Boston was going to do it, but Boston ain't gonna. They're not going to do that. And there were a lot of people think the Knicks were going to do it, and then he'll come play with the Knicks or even the Sixers because I know LeBron wanted to play with either one of them. I know he's been leaning that way. Um, but the kid can't play. They've been bragging about this kid since eighth grade, and he was in the top prospects, high school coming in, but going into college, and each year though it diminished. His stock option kept dropping, you know, and then they're like, oh, his brother's better than him, his younger brother. Okay, well that means Bronny's not that good, and then God forbid he got sick. I wouldn't take a chance on the kid. He's not healthy. That's kind of scary. If I was the owner, I wouldn't take a chance, especially because LeBron's not going to be in the league much longer. You know what I'm saying? He's just not. So, and I'm sure the shot had something to do with it because I know all the NBA players got those shots. and I'm sure that's something to do with him getting that heart attack. And
Is
people
there a
aren't saying
chance
but
a
on him.
team that had him takes him back, or
Uh,
has he burned those bridges?
yeah, good question. Uh,
I mean, Cleveland right now, I feel like they're in a kind of like a rebuild. Their team's actually pretty solid.
yeah, pretty
I
good.
mean, between Mitchell, I love Jared Allen. I thought the Nets were stupid for getting rid of him.
Right.
Mobley's a
Yeah.
good player. If he can get to the next level here and be just consistent, is really what he needs to be
And
because he's
Garland's
got
good
the
too.
talent.
And Garland's good too.
Garland's good too. Yeah. I mean, look at all those pieces that they got. I mean, LeBron could be, a helpful tool there.
They would take him back in a minute. Because
Yeah.
oh yeah, you look. You know what? I know that every time he would leave a team, they would burn the jerseys, the fans. But they would just get a new jersey. You know, these same people that are burning the jersey one. I just burned that one because I got a better one. I just bought a better one. See, it looks so nice. It looks so nice. But no, they would absolutely take him back. He's loved there. You know, Miami. I don't think he wants to go back to Miami, especially if Butler's out. You know, he won't go back. Um, but I do know he definitely wants to stack a team. You know, LeBron's best friend told my brother that, and he wants to try to win one more somewhere. And originally, the Sixers and the Knicks were the favorite for that to go there. Um, Now I don't know if that's changed, but and I do know LeBron was at a concert though because I actually know somebody that's friends with his agent as well as my brother knows the best friend, and I have a friend that also knows him. So the night after the Celtics won, he probably couldn't take it, so we went to a rap concert, probably to bang his head against the ground or something because he was depressed we won. But no, I could see him going back to Cleveland. Miami, no, no, they just don't have enough. And you're right, Ben's good, but he's not. Ben is a really solid player out of bio. He is out of bio, but he's not the guy that's going to get you over the hump unless there's a lot of players with him around him playing. You know what I'm saying? He is good though.
I think if you can utilize him less and more consistently, he becomes a better player. So, because sometimes I see them using him almost as like a point center, and it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? They run the offense through him. He's a great passer, but they get to a point where when they're expecting the center to pass the ball, it becomes a very easy lane to pick. You know what I mean? Oh, the center's got to pass the ball. Everybody just play off of him. You know what I mean? Like and then he either has to force up a shot or force a pass. And there's nights when when his shot's not going, it's just not going. They need another guy. They need another center.
Yeah.
I don't think LeBron would even be a good fit there, to be honest. They have a
No,
lot of guys that need
no.
to learn how to handle the ball and be the point, and
LeBron doesn't have
they're
time
better
for
with ball movement and whatnot. It's
LeBron's getting too old for all that. He doesn't got time for it. So he's not a kid. So
I could see Philly, but I just can't imagine him in that jersey.
I'm sure you would, John. I'm sure the next time I see you, you'll have a LeBron Philly jersey. But
I I don't like Philly. I really don't. I think that Joel Embiid is so overrated. He's a great player, but like I don't. He's not a winner. He's just to me, he's just not a winner. Like he's
see, that's what
really
I'm saying.
good.
That's what I'm saying. And that's kind of like Bob Lanier. He was a great player. He couldn't stay healthy, and he never won the big games. So yeah, he really is Bob Lanier of the old Piston. And by the way, when I was in Boston, I took pictures with Joe Dumars. I met him. He's watching our show. He's going to watch our show. Thank you, Joe, for that. He said he's definitely checking us out. So, but he was really really nice. And I met his sons. His sons came and they sat down with him, and it was a lot of fun. I got to see a lot of. I was right down front when they got the trophy, and it was pretty amazing. I had a great time up there. Great time. But uh, so I guess to answer the question, that would be Denver. Then they're going to be good, and I don't know. Like a lot has to do with this draft, and I know you said you didn't really. I know a lot of Connecticut players are coming out in this draft, and the first two picks are from France. And I don't know how good they are, but they're the first two picks, so they got to be pretty good. I know the Connecticut players how good they are. You know, and it'd be interesting to see if Connecticut will be as good this coming year. I don't think they will. I think they'll be good, but not as good, not nearly as good. And because they really did lose a lot the last 2 years, the players.
And you stop sucking up to Rob.
Um, you're right. Screw you, Rob. They're going to win.
Connecticut's going to be good. Hurley is a great coach, and I'm so happy he declined the Lakers contract because he's just solidifying his Jersey City boy self as being, UConn's lifelong head coach here. I mean, he's doing what, Jim Calhoun didn't do, Kevin Ollie with Jim Calhoun right behind him, didn't do. I mean,
I thought you
he's
like Connecticut.
incredible as a coach.
And you could talk about those players. But for Rob, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a shirt with a little husky dog, and I'm going to have like a little like button. And every time he looks at the shirt, the dog's going to wink at him. It's going to be great. Rob's going to love it. But what do you think about the? Because I know a bunch of your players are going in the top 10. Who do you like of all of them?
I mean, I don't know who's going to be great in the league. UConn has been producing NBA level talent for a very long time.
Yeah.
None of them have been like all time great guys. We're not sitting here going, oh, these all time great. I mean, the list goes on from, Rip Hamilton, Ray Allen's probably the best one that Andre Drummond, Okafor, Ben Gordon, Josh Boone made it to the league. I mean, there's so many guys that have made it. I mean, Sonogo made it to the league. He was the MVP of the championship last year, and he was on the Bulls. Their B squad there. He rode the bench. I think he played 2 games all year. They didn't even try to use it. So his skill set, I guess, didn't translate immediately. Which I mean, Hashim Thabit was amazing. Especially on defense with Connecticut, and we found him like basically straight out of Africa. He was just, nobody else had found him, and we came and recruited him, and he was outstanding. And then he ended up not making it, to being worth. I think he was like a top 2 or 3 pick in the draft. So I don't really know. I mean, uh, you know, great players have come and go. Kemba Walker, Shabazz Napier. Um, we'll see. I don't really speculate on who's going to be great coming out of UConn, but they'll be serviceable. I'll say that. They're coachable,
Your center,
and
your center's
they,
pretty good. I still think Spencer was the whole, thing, and a couple of your other guards and forwards were good, but your center was good at certain times. I don't know how good it'll be in the NBA, and he's gonna go in the top 10. But
Klingon's awesome, but Edie exposed him. Edie's
there you go.
special.
See, that's my thing. See, because I played basketball for such a long time, the one thing I know is you can be good against littler guys, and everybody will think you're great. I don't want to hear that. I want to see when you play exactly the player that's like you, just as big, as strong, as talented. If you can't control that guy, then you're only good against weaker players, and you're not that good. See, when I played, even though I was small, I used to dominate big players. That meant a lot to me. So that shows you how good you are. And I learned that as a kid, and it's true. And you're right. Edie exposed him. That's why Celtics need to get him.
Edie's got the quick first step that I wish Klingon had.
Yeah.
And Klingon's been getting faster. You can see it in his progression. I mean, he was only at UConn for a
Yeah.
short amount of time, though.
Right.
So you didn't really see that, but you saw enough where you could see he's growing. He's growing at a good pace. So
Right.
I think he's going to be very serviceable. I'm not giving him MVP votes for the next probably 5 years here. We'll see where he gets to. Is going to be my throw at a dart
He's
at a
gonna be
board to try to
coming off
see
the
where
bench.
he's going to land. But
Right. Okay. Yeah, he's gonna be coming off the bench though. That's what I think. I don't think he's gonna be a starter. But Edie is Zachy. Oh, I want him so bad. And I hope Boston is watching this. Hope the Celtics are watching this tonight because They need to move up like 10 spots to get him. That's all they really need to do. He's not going to go in the first 10 picks. So if Boston gets in the middle of the draft and they trade those, if I was the Celtics, I would trade my first and second pick for maybe like a top 10 pick or a top 15, because that way Boston would get him. They would get him. And that's what I would do. And, you know, but yeah, I did you think that Hurley was going to go to play with LeBron or coach with
I
LeBron?
was scared. I was nervous
Really?
about it
I
for a
wasn't.
second.
I
I mean,
was.
they offered him a lot of money, and they really tried for him. That was their first hope, was they wanted him.
Right.
Um, I don't know. I don't know if he wants to. Hurley's a humble. He's just not that kind of guy. He's not like a LeBron or a Harden or whoever that wants the spotlight and the fame like that. He wants to support his guys, coach his team, do really well, and do well for the people around him that are giving him the chance, and that are he's chancing on them. He wants to support. He's a team guy, and I love it. It's incredible. That's why they're winning. He
Right.
is a team guy through and through. That's what the Lakers, haven't been. So
Right.
it makes sense that they're going after this guy like that.
Oh, yeah. Like, look, Lakers got nothing to lose. I mean, they're in dire straits right now. But if there's, you know what, outside of the money, I don't think Hurley had anything to win by going there. Um, LeBron's going to leave soon. Anthony Davis is going to be left alone, and who knows how much longer he'll stay after that. They really have no team, and he is a tough coach. And he he may get to the point where he be telling LeBron what to do, and LeBron doesn't take too kindly to that. So yeah, he was smart not to go. Plus, he's building a little mini dynasty where he is, so there's no reason to leave. I mean, you know what? And here's the other thing: no one's. Yeah, did he turn down a lot of money? Yeah, but he's such a good coach that when he is ready to leave, you think a team ain't going to give him that much? With the resume he's building right now, you can bet he's getting what he wants.
The value of the dollar is going down every day. That could double in through 2, 3 years.
Right, right. I mean, he's in a perfect position, and he stayed with his family. He's an East Coast guy, and you know, it, I respect. I never thought he was going because my brother was like, "You think he's going?" No, no, I don't. He's not. He's going to say no. He goes, "Well, I don't know because he's going to do the interview." That was the day that he went to get interviewed by them to LA. Like it doesn't matter what day he's going. He's not gonna leave, and he didn't. I had no doubts about it. It's just like I said, it's a no win for him because he's not gonna. Even if he was the coach, he's just not gonna walk in there and they're gonna win it just because he's there. Brad Stevens did a great job, in college. His first year there, when he became coach of the Celtics, did they win it? No. Were they good? Yeah, they were good. Did they win it? No. And I can't even say the Lakers are good because they're not. At this point, they're really not. So no, it's not even an issue. But again, all the other media people who don't tell you the whole truth, they just want to blow smoke. They're making it like it's something, and they're scaring people. They scare people. I mean, they're like the real media. And but if you really just sit back and think about it, like just like, nah, he ain't going. It just doesn't add up. And now, is he going to win next year? Sorry, John, but there ain't going to be no winking, uh, husky on my shirt at you because they're not going to win. But I don't think they're going to repeat. They'll be good, but
Don't count him out. Just that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not saying they're the front runners. I'm not saying listen, they lost a lot of players, but you know what? They lost a lot of players the year previously. And they
but
had
this
guys
time
come
they
in.
lost. But this time they lost to pretty much everybody. Last year they lost a few. They did, but this year they lost two main ones last year. But this year they lost the whole starting five pretty much. So I
Well,
don't know.
Caravan's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
He pulled back out. So I mean, but they did grab some guys like Castle. He last year they grabbed him through the portal and stuff like that. Like he's making moves of guys that he sees talent and they're not getting the playing time. So you know they're hungry, right? And he's telling them, "Hey, listen, you come here, I can guarantee you playing time. And do you want to win? That's what I'm asking you. We want to win. Do
Right.
you want to win?" And these
Right.
guys are going, "Yeah, playing time and win. Yeah." It's like, all right, I'm not guaranteeing you any amount of playing time, guaranteeing you it's a winning culture. And that's what he's given them, you know? And they listen to him, they follow him. It's guys, you're getting the right guys. You know what I mean? They're
Mm.
not getting those players that want stardom, that want, the NIL deals and stuff like that. He's going and getting
You know,
the hungry guys, which I love. It's incredible.
the one thing that I've said all for years, really a long time, that these players are kind of dumb because all of them, because they always want what you just said, all that, the star, the whole thing, but and the money, of course. But if they would just do what they're supposed to do and play hard, and especially if they're good going in, they're gonna get their money. They're going to become a star. And because they're not looking for that other stuff, they're actually playing hard and going to win as well. You can have everything if you do it right. They're not doing it right. These players that just want all the big fame and all that, that stuff will come if you perform. And you'll get loved by everyone except for the other team who hates your guts. But that's okay. That's normal, you know? But even that kind of hate is respect because that's just like, that damn guy's so good. I hate him. If he's not on your team, you hate him. So, but that's respect. And if they would just do it right, but these kids, they don't think about that. Winning and playing well and doing well at something is what you should always be shooting for because the rest will follow if you do that. And the kids don't realize that. And even the pros don't realize that. That's something that their mentalities never changed from when they were kids. They still think that way, which is kind of messed up. But and they were just saying it tonight. They're like, Boston took pay cuts. Boston did this. They proved that works. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I mean, once you and I think their shirt. What did their shirt say? We're all in. We're all in it. Or all in. I believe that was their motto. Um, and they really were all in. And the other thing was on their shirt. It's different here. Well, that's right because most of the other teams don't do that. You know, they didn't care about that other stuff. you know. And I do love Drew Holiday, by the way. He was great at UCLA. He won him with the Bucks. Um,
Speaking of UCLA
yeah,
and some of the guys there,
yeah,
Bob, I need a 2 minute intermission for me. I'm gonna go let my dogs in the house. Do you want to say some kind words? We had a lot of great guys pass here. I mean, between Bill Walton, Jerry West, Willie
yeah,
Mays. I mean, that's three huge guys that, think
yeah,
we should give them a little RIP.
we really are. Are you leaving now?
Yeah, I just figured you give a
Oh,
little,
this is my
kind of
this is my
talk.
drunk solo.
Yeah, a monologue, just kind of, because we want to honor them for the show here. We
Right.
talked about doing something like this. So, just saying a couple kind words. These are great players. I mean, Jerry West is the logo. He deserves it,
Yeah.
with how great he was. I mean,
Mhm.
it's an iconic picture. I mean, Willie Mays, I mean, everybody remembers the catch and the throw after and stuff like
Right.
that. So, you know, these are guys we should definitely honor.
Yeah, and I will. Okay. First of all, Bill Walton, which I actually kind of talked about on my last show. I knew him. My brother was his trainer. I have it. Still have his phone number in my phone. I never even deleted it. Uh, he was the best player I've ever seen to this day in college. Now Jabbar probably was better, but I was a little too young for Jabbar in college. So, but nobody could play like Bill. Should they have won? You know, the 3 years he played because you weren't allowed to play as a freshman back then. You had your own freshman team. You weren't allowed to play in the varsity. Yes. Did he win that last one? No, because he was so involved with protesting and all, kind of distracting him and the team. But there was nobody better than him. There was nobody tougher than him. There was not many better winners than him. He was one of the best passing centers of all time. He actually learned how to play every position because he grew up slowly. And, when he was smaller, he played guard and then forward and center. And he learned all the skills. He was so amazing. And he has such a great bank shot. Coach Wooden would teach him it's the number one hardest shot to block and the easiest shot to make. And Bill proved that. He still has the record for the NCAA finals, 44 points in the game. I believe he was 17 of 19 in that finals game. And yeah, he was. And he was 10 of 10 from the foul line. And then when he got to the Boston Celtics in '86, I'm like, just give us the ring. I can't wait for Magic to get here. We're going to kill him. And if Len Bias lived the next year, we would have kept doing it. But unfortunately, and I don't want to forget, he was with the Portland Trailblazers. And he did upset the Dr. J's Sixers because he was a great center. And the only thing that the Sixers did not have was a real center because Moses Malone was not there yet. They had Caldwell Jones, I believe. He was the center, and he was okay, but that's it. And Bill dominated them. They won it in 6. Back when, the finals were on tape to win because the league was hurting before Bird and Magic got there. When my brother was in the league at the time. But there was nobody like Bill. He was an amazing personality. Did I believe in everything he didn't know? But did I love him? Yeah, because he was fun with me. He always teased me, and he always had a smile on his face. Everything he did, everything was. I mean, I remember I went to a net game one time. He was in the parking lot throwing frisbees with the fans coming in. I mean, he really was. So that's just the kind of guy he was. Did I like his music? No, I'm a Beatle fan. I think they're better than the Grateful Dead, but way better. Actually, nobody's better than the Beatles. But and without the Beatles, it wouldn't be a Grateful Dead, just for the record. And they would tell you that actually. But yeah, he was so much fun. He would email me. He actually tried to get me a job in the league at one time, and his messages were amazing. He would always sign a BW at the end, Bill Walton, and there wasn't anything the man couldn't do. They won 88 games in a row. They should have won against NC State in his last year. I know Dave Myers got arrested, so missed a couple foul shots in the overtime. We played them early in the year at UCLA. We beat NC State by 20, and we should have won the end of that game. We didn't call timeout because Bill didn't want to call timeout. He didn't listen to coach. He was kind of dancing around with the music. I don't know why, but that's just Bill. But yes, we were. And the next year we ended up winning again because Coach Wooden was so amazing without any center, without any players. But there'll never be another Bill. I love him and I miss him. And as for Jerry West, what can you say? Smartest guy in the world. Without him, there was no Laker Showtime. Without him, there is no 33 games in a row when he played. They have the record. They won 33 in a row, and they beat the Knicks. Yes, in the finals in 5 games in 72. He did say, and I've seen him say it. He goes, in the 60s, Boston used to just beat us, couldn't beat them. That was kind of nice. But anyway, but he was great to play against, and they did get Chamberlain, and they finally did win it. But Russell had to quit before that. I mean, they thought they were going to beat us Russell's last year because we were old. And once those playoffs came, we were playing like we were 10 years younger. And we beat them in LA because they finally had the home field and they still couldn't do it. Don Nelson hit the big shot and went up and in. Hit the back rim, went right in. But no, but Jerry, he realized these players weren't that good. He said it many times. He told James Worthy on an interview, what was my rule? Coach, he goes, tell him. All right, coach, no threes. None of us were allowed to take us to Byron Scott. And even he was limited. So, and they still won it. So the three wasn't that big a deal. I know Boston took a lot, but that drives me nuts. There were days when I needed a time off from them because they kept missing threes. It just drove me crazy. I still think you need to go to the basket. And somebody made the mistake of saying that Chamberlain couldn't play today. And I remember Jerry wanted to get up and punch the guy in the face. He goes, I don't see nobody. He would have killed you guys. He was 7'1", 300 pounds and all muscle. He goes, I don't see nobody scoring 100 points a game now. You guys ain't that good. Don't think more of yourself than you are. You can't compare. And the other thing he said that I loved was there's no such thing as an expert. And he's so right. He's so right. He's right in sports, he's right in life, he's totally right. And he used to give it to you straight, and that's why I loved him. He was on the other team, but back then I didn't hate the Lakers so much because Magic didn't annoy me yet. He was still a big Magic and I are pretty much the same age, so he wasn't around yet, you know. But Jerry was a great guy, and he was a logo for a reason. And for LeBron to want to change the logo to him and get Jerry off is the most insulting thing. He ought to be ashamed of himself because back then those guys would have killed LeBron. In the '80s, LeBron wouldn't be able to do anything. And I'm not just blowing smoke. That's reality. When you hear those other guys like, oh, the other stations are blowing smoke, I'm telling the truth. That's the difference. And they got all the kids brainwashed. Funny, I went out last night. We were talking. I just met this guy, and we were talking about trying to think of baseball. I go, they ought to stop taking the pictures out. They ought to stop doing this. And he goes, no, it's the right way to do it. And I go, no, it isn't. And I just started breaking down things and giving him things. And he goes, well, I'm a propagandist. I go, oh, you're a liar. I got it. I think your camera froze, John. I could be wrong, but I think it froze. Either that or you froze. But anyway, but no, he goes, I go, you're just propagandist, you're a liar. And he goes, yeah, well, it works with a lot of people. It don't work with me. Because you know what? I know the real truth, and you can't fool somebody who knows the real truth. And but it's really like that in all the media. They just blow smoke, and it's ridiculous. There was nobody like Jerry West, and of course we're gonna miss him. You know, if nothing else, is honesty. Even though he did make an illegal trade to get Gasol, but we'll look the other way on that one. Just to skunk my Celtics, but and the other thing was Willie Mays. He was the star when I was growing up. Henry Aaron was good, but Willie was the star. And he was the closest one to Ruth until Aaron came out of nowhere. See, Mays just got old fast. Aaron was steady. He just never got that old, even when he was older. And he just kept popping those home runs. But Willie Mays I don't remember that catch. I wasn't born yet in the 50s, so I don't know. But I do know how great he was with the Giants. I know he would come in, hit 52 home runs. And the Mets back then, their biggest guy had 3 home runs. Yeah, kind of like now. For the whole year, no less. But all those guys, McCovey and Mays. I mean, they would say when they swung, the wind would change direction. That's how great they were, and they were amazing. He did join the Mets at the end. It's just too bad the Mets had a 3-2 lead, but then Reggie Jackson popped those 2 home runs on us, and Yogi blew it because he was our manager. He should have just pitched George Stone. He rushed Seaver back and he wasn't ready, and he didn't have it that day. But Willie was amazing, and he was, if not the best, and one of the best ever. He was often compared to Ruth and Garrick and those guys, and with good reason. And he was a great person. Um, he was always friendly to everybody, and you never said the wrong thing. You never spoke out, and he lived a really good long life. And we honor him because of that. We love him, and we're gonna miss him.
Well said, Bob. Well said.
That was
Yeah.
in that was in my drum solo. Um,
No, it's important on these guys. I mean, they're greats, and the Willie Mays one that would. I mean, they were all out of nowhere, and then the Willie Mays one to just top it all off. I was just like, you know,
yeah,
because he's got the most. I've seen more clips of him than I have, Walton and Jerry West and stuff like that. There were a lot more cameras on baseball at that time, so like even the younger generation can really kind of look him up and see a lot more highlights for that, you know,
yeah,
and they should at least look into the stats and stuff like that because what they did was incredible. Even if we didn't get to see him play, I mean, you know it's important to honor him and stuff like that. What he did for the African American community and stuff like that, and really showing, again, just following in Jackie's footsteps and making sure that the league didn't resegregate and whatnot, made it, the league that is
the
today
other
that's still
thing there
competitive.
was, especially when in the '70s, there was so many black players playing at the time. There's actually less now, and it's not because of anything big deal. It's just because they'd rather play football and basketball, and that's fine. You're allowed to play what you want to play. Go play it. I
Yeah, a
mean,
lot more Latino players now in the league in
yeah,
baseball. They're coming out of they're coming out at 14, 15, doing stuff that, people haven't even seen before. Look at Jason Dominguez. I mean, he got hurt again, but I've been
he
dying
got
to
hurt
see him
again.
play again. Yeah, he got hurt again a
What?
couple yeah, yeah, wipe that smile off your face, Bob. Come on. That's a great player
Yeah.
that we are just
Well,
we're
no, he should
losing
be
out on getting
in
to see
San
play.
Diego, John, because you know what? I would not have let Cashman walk in there and go, "This is who we want to give you for Soto." I would have said, "I want your slugger. He's never really played yet. He's young, and I want him, and that's it. You get Soto only if we get him, and if not, you don't get Soto." It should have been
Only in a sign and trade, Bob. Only in a sign and trade.
sign this. That was a trade. That was it.
No, a sign and trade only. Only the only way that Jason Dominguez gets put in that trade is if Soto signs the 15-year deal on his way over. Period.
No,
Period.
because you know what?
Period.
If I'm San Diego, like you got to realize the owner just died, so they're looking to get rid of the team. They're looking to get a new owner. So there's no way I would have just said, you know what, we're going to sell the team, so we're not going to give him 15 years. You want him for a rental, you got him, but we want your kid. And by the way, what did Dominguez? I didn't see. What did Dominguez do this time?
I think it was what was it? It was oblique or shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't want to switch topics too fast, but it's 8 o'clock and Oilers are on.
Yeah.
So let's make our predictions and talk a little bit about this. I mean, who do we got?
Well,
Florida,
you know
Edmonton.
what? Again, I'm very much on about offense, especially in hockey. We talked about this on the phone once. Um, Edmonton's offense came alive just at the right time, and they were down 3-0. They waited one more game, they would have been out. I would love to see them do this. Can they? Yes, they can, because it's on the road in hockey is a lot easier to win than it is in the other sports. But will they do it? Will Florida lose four in a row? They're good. I don't know. It's tonight's a toss up. I'm leaning Edmonton. Not as in I'm not picking them, but I want them to win. I want to see Florida after what they did to Boston last year. I saw them forgiving them. So I'd love to see it. And boy, what a story it would be, huh? Coming back from
I mean,
oh,
if you got a free $50 bet on DraftKings, you can put it on Edmonton or Florida. Who are you putting it on?
well, I would imagine Florida would be the favorite, right?
Florida's slight favorite. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
It's
because they're
not.
home. Is it 1.5? Is it something like that? Goal?
It's we're looking at minus 108 to minus 112. I mean,
Oh,
it is the slimmest of margins here.
what about the goal? Is it 1.5? Um, so
Yeah,
can
no, I'm talking money line. It is almost even. Like
okay.
Florida's favored by like a 1,000th of a point.
If Edmonton, if I can't see it, but if Edmonton's a 1.5, or I'm sorry, a plus 1.5, I would take the goal and a half and take Edmonton.
Yeah, but the plus 1.5 doesn't give you anything. It's a bad bet because
I know.
it's you're not doubling your money. I'm saying if you have a money line bet, who you got? You get a free $50
I
money line bet. Who you putting it on?
don't know. I might stay away from that one because it's too close to call. Um, but believe me, I do you want to see Edmonton win?
I kind of want to see Edmonton win.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
McDavid, being the best
I
player in the
love
league,
David.
hands
Yeah,
down. I
yeah,
mean, it's not a debate. McDavid he's Gretzky esque. He's not Gretzky, but he's Gretzky esque. Okay, and
yeah.
he deserves one. I mean, Draisaitl is freaking amazing. I mean, he's right there below Connor McDavid as the second best player in the world right now. I mean, he's tied with like Kucherov, maybe. He might be above him at this point.
Right.
And I love Corey Perry. I've Ducks were always my second team because I had a bunch of their players when I started doing fantasy hockey when I really got into hockey. And he put up that 50-goal season, and he was on my team. And I've been such a huge Corey Perry fan ever since. And I would love to see him get another championship.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'm rooting for Edmonton. I love offense. And I know one of my friends, other friends, kept saying Edmonton was going to win it. even back when it looked like they were dead in the water, even before this round. Um, but you know what? They got offense wins. See that? For that reason, I would like my point to be proved because I always brag about offense, and Edmonton would kind of again prove me right because um, no one thought Indiana was going to go as far as they did, and I kept saying they have a good offense. The Pacers, that can't be overlooked. So yeah, and especially in hockey, you know, I mean, it's hard to score. So yeah, if you can score, you're ahead of the game, and you're the bet. You have a better chance to win than the other team because you can score. So I'm rooting for Edmonton. Now, do I think Florida's going to win? They should. I mean, how many times are you going to lose in a row? This isn't like Boston and the Yankees, John. You know what I'm saying? Um, but you so from that perspective, you think Florida, but I don't know. Edmonton could do it, and they're pretty hot right now. So you know, it's all about the. You know what? It seems like Florida, and it makes me laugh because it seemed like Florida had Edmonton figured out right in the first three games. They really couldn't do anything. But my friend called me um, when Boston was playing. I guess it was against Indiana, and he was like, "Yeah, they figured you out. That's why they almost beat you in the game." And I go, "Figured us out." I go, "The only thing I figured out was Tatum chucked too many threes and missed it. That's allowed them to almost win the game." I go, "They didn't figure out nothing." And no, they didn't, and neither did Dallas. That's just overthinking it. It's just and you can't figure out a team that can score. You just got to try to hope that they don't, or try to limit what the damage that they're going to do. And yeah, Edmonton can score, and because they're so good on offense, you're not going to stop them a whole series. You're just not. You know what I'm saying? They could do this, and I would love to see it. I really, really would.
I think a big key is, Bobrovsky started out and he was so hot those first three games. And honestly, they were talking about it being like a record for highest save percentage in a Stanley Cup series if he kept playing the way he did. And he kind of just got cold immediately. I know that they did instead of one day off and then the next day play, they stretched it out a little bit when they had to, because this was the furthest cup final between teams, in distance of travel. So the travel time to get from Edmonton to Florida was the greatest that it's ever been for a Stanley Cup. So they added an extra day of rest time in between, and that could throw a goalie off when they're running hot like that. So, I don't know. I don't know if Bobrovsky can find it again, but he's got to find it quick. He's got to get back to how he was. Otherwise, it's
Right.
over. Edmonton's
If
got this
anything,
because
if
they
anything,
found
Edmonton,
it.
if anything, Edmonton's found a way to beat him in goal. They're hitting the spots now that are kind of vulnerable for the goalie. They're shooting him in those right spots, and he can't stop it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. And by the way, I see you're all Yankeed out. What?
Well, I had to, it's baseball season, but I got my Yankees hockey jersey on that I got free at one of the games that I went to with my dad. So, what a way to combine baseball and hockey, given the Stanley Cup final, right?
You got an outfit for all seasons.
All sports. We combine them all, Bob. We do all the sports here on the sports show with Bob Spino. We know it all. We love it all. And we hope you do too.
Yeah, we sure do. And by the way, Stanton. And you know what? I got to tell you, the top of your lineup is amazing, but you're kind of like the Dodgers in a way. The bottom of your lineup. The only thing that's saving you, and I thought this before you got hurt, I'm like Stanton is saving them in the bottom because he's hitting this year. So what does he turn around and do? He ain't hitting now, is he? He got hurt for a month, and without that, you have no bottom of the lineup. Now you're gonna struggle. And the only other thing I could say about your team, the one drawback you have that I've seen so far, you haven't been able to beat the elites yet. Baltimore beat you 2 out of 3. The Braves beat you 2 out of 3. And didn't the Dodgers handle you too? Yeah, they did. So you're having trouble beating those teams. And you better do it, John, because if you don't, Soto's going out the window. This is your only year you're getting him. I told you. He's
Well,
leaving. Cashman
so
already said, I
so
want to, you know, he said, I want to cut payroll. That's not going to make him stay. He wants 700 million. I told you. And you know, that other thing you said, I wanted to address this because I have it, but I thought about it. You're like, oh, well, they signed players back from before. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they almost didn't because Judge was out. And all those other guys, you didn't. They weren't great players being telling those guys, but you didn't sign them. They weren't expensive either. You could have. And you know what? You didn't. And you have it the whole time Hal's been there. And you made the excuse, well, next year Soto will be a part of the Yankees. He'll stay. No, he will not because he's a superstar and he's a rental. It's not like he's part of your team. That's what I wanted to say, John. I've been waiting for that. And like, no, he wants 700 million. You're not going to do that. He's going to the Met.
Bob, I hope you stay this excited when he signs the deal.
John, he's going to be a Met or a. I don't think he's going to be a. I think he'll be a Met. To be honest with you. And did you hear what Torrey told? You were there with Torrey when Gallen got hurt, right on the field. Were you standing with me that night, or were you not there that night
With who?
when Zach Gallen got hurt? Were you not there?
I wasn't there when he got hurt. I was there. I
Okay,
was there when we met him.
no, but this is this year. When I was on the field this past week, when I went to all 4 games, Mets Arizona, and you know what? Torrey Lavello walked up to me and goes, "Listen close to what he said to me." He goes, "Bob, Zach's pitching tonight. That was the night he got hurt. All right." And he goes, "Bob, he ain't going to be here after next year." I go, "Why?" And he goes, "Because he's going to be with the Mets." Notice he did not say he was going to be with the Yankees. He goes, he wants 400 million and the Mets are going to give it to him. Oh. You're going to give it to him? They're going
They're
to give
gonna
it
give
to,
it to Zach Gallen.
yes, they're going to give it to him. They're going to give it to Soto. Just like that owner said, I'm not playing for 24 or 25. I'm playing for 26 and beyond.
Bob, you need to start praying for
Oh, I'm
these
sorry. I'm
guys because
sorry.
that is so wrong that the Mets are going to try to sign these guys and they're going to go in there and they're going to get hurt like every other Mets player because every time the Mets sign somebody, it seems to just get like hurt them. It seems to actually hurt the person. Like I'm starting to be I don't hate the Mets as a Yankee fan. We're not rivals. Everyone can get over it. Everyone can be all
No,
upset
no,
about
no.
that.
That
We're
wasn't
not
like that when we
rivals.
were kids. We
I
hated you
want
guys.
success for the Mets. Okay. And
No, that's
and
the modern thing. When we were kids, we hated the other teams.
Bob,
No,
Bob, I don't call the ambulance when the Mets win. All right. I hope the Mets win. I wish the best for them. I
that's good.
like when they
Let's see
win,
it.
but I don't like to see their players get constantly injured. And it happens way too much.
John, you got a guy at the gym running your medical staff now, right down the
Listen,
street.
I'm not saying we're any bad. Listen, we need to stop with these injuries too. I mean, Cole just came back. We got Schmidt went on the IL, right? We got Dominguez got hurt again, and we got
Oh, Judge got
Stanton
hurt.
just went on the IL,
How about Judge?
right?
You must have freaked when Judge got hit on the wrist again. He must have been like, oh no. I was like, yeah, he did? Really? It was just
Yeah,
not
this
far
is.
enough up the wrist.
I mean, Rizzo's out again. Rizzo's out
His
for. He's
career's
on the
over.
60 day,
Yeah, his career is, you know what, his
and
back.
and and DJ LeMahieu had just come back, and he hasn't been the same since.
Well,
So
he's 300 years old. That's probably why. He's old now. You're not going to get what he did in Colorado. You're not. And like he's too old. And Rizzo's back. That thing keeps flaring up. And believe me, I know about a bad
he
back.
like broke his arm or something.
Oh, that's right. He fractured his arm. I believe that's right. But the back
Has
is
nothing to do with his back. His back, if
no, it
anything, his
does.
back will be very happy that he's healed as long as he's continuing to stretch his back. Otherwise, he's going to come back and
Yeah,
his
but that
back
back,
is going to be like, what the hell is going on? And he's going to re aggravate his back and then he's going to be out again, you
well, that's
know?
the thing about a back is that stuff never goes away. And the more you play, or you can easily hurt it again. I know because I had now I do. I never had a bad back. Now I do. So I get it. And like that's but you gotta you gotta literally you have a gym guy running your medical staff. That's always the guy I wanted to have run it. I hate you guys, you know. But like,
Isn't the physical trainer's name Jim? Who's the physical?
I don't know. Well, Donahue got us on the field that night, but he's
Donahue, yeah.
retired. But he's the retired one. He's been there forever. He's still with them. He just doesn't do the, you know, he's not the head trainer. He's like in a kind of like a help out role now. But no, Steve
We
Donahue.
we need more than help out right now. I mean,
Look,
that's for
I'm
sure.
telling you,
You know,
John.
I we can't take many more of these injuries because our pitching staff started out really well. They started out playing above what I thought was their level of abilities, and now they've started to taper off here as the seasons have gone on. It's like the kind of the opposite of what Mark Teixeira was when Mark Teixeira used to bat for the first 2 months of the year. He used to bat 100, and
Right.
then the next couple months he'd bat 300, get him up to right into 250, and he'd hit 40 home runs.
Mark
You
was
know,
great. Mark was great. Plus,
yeah,
plus he was a great fielder.
yeah. But this is like the opposite of what's happening here. I mean, and it doesn't help when you're in like 1-run games, and Glaber made a couple errors against the Dodgers and stuff like that, and you could have taken
I'm
that
surprised
series.
Glaber's still there, but and he's not really having all that great a year, which is bad because he's batting in the lower half of the lineup. So you need somebody on the bottom. See, the one thing about the Yankees when they were great, especially with the G, you had guys that could hit up and down the freaking lineup. And by the way, I believe he just turned 50 the other day, Jeter. Torrey and those guys, I saw the pictures. They all gave him a surprise party. Yeah, they did. But look, that's why you used to win. It's all about the hitting, John. And you know what? Hal's not George. You're not going to get those players, and you know it. That's the best part. You know it. You know I'm right. And like, um, but but uh, again, he our owner, because I'm a Met fan, got rid of Scherzer and Degrom, and he said, I did it because I'm not playing for this year, which was last year. He's not playing for this year, which is this year. He's playing for the next year. Why? Somebody asked him because that's when all the good players are going to be ready to come out. Soda was one of those good players. We're getting him. And now I'm getting a bonus because I didn't know we were going to get Zach Gallen too. He's coming too. That's awesome. And we're going to be great, John. You're going to have to sit there and go, shoot. And by the way, I did go to the Strawberry game when they retired his number. He gave the best speech. Oh, he made us laugh. And he thanked his wife and our Lord. He goes, without those two, I was close to killing myself. And but he had everybody. It was a great moment. And I'm kind of disappointed that more Mets weren't on that field from that team because that team was amazing. And he goes, I did leave. I went to the Dodgers. I went to the Cards. And he goes, I'm sorry I left you. He went to the Yanks, I believe. So he goes, I'm sorry I left you guys. I am a Met and I'm glad I'm home and thank you for taking me back. And he goes, you guys are the best because you cheer me when I win, and you go, you suck when we suck. You let us know, and everybody was laughing, but he told the truth, and because that's how New York fans are. And he goes, but thank you for taking me back, and I love it here, and I'll never leave again. And it was really awesome. Like the ceremony was awesome. And weirdly enough, I was in Philly the other night, and they retired the pitcher Hamels Cole, and he gave a nice speech. Mike Schmidt was on the field, and so was Steve Carlton. I can't believe he's still around. He's about 1,000 years old. He was good friends with Tim McCarver. They were best friends because he used to catch him, and he didn't talk to anybody. He was a really cold guy. McCarver was like the only one he talked to, and but he was a good pitcher. Wasn't as good as Tom Seaver. We used to own him. He had a losing record against the Mets, but and the Reds. Everybody else he beat. But and that's when the Mets stunk. You get Tom Seaver. You couldn't beat Seaver. But it was really really good. And they gave us a ring, like his World Series ring, like in a little box. They gave it out to everybody that came in. And I got on the field. I saw Torrey and I saw the guys. Um, but it was I got lucky. I got to see two retirements in a week. You know,
And you got to see my buddy, who the Yankees should have never gotten rid of, Jordan Montgomery get a nice win there. I
I
mean,
love Cashman.
he's a good lefty pitcher. He was the ace of the World Series team
Yes.
last year. I mean, he's incredible. What more do you want from the guy? I don't know why they didn't pay him, but
Well, you know what I thought was funny? The ex Yankee pitched against the ex Met because Walker pitched for the Phillies that night. And you know what's but John,
and the ex-Met took the L.
he did. Oh, Montgomery was awesome, by the way. And I ended up sitting with a guy and his son, um, who turned out that his cousin is a pitcher on the Diamondbacks. So we started to talk for a while. I should have got his number. I'll see him again because he's going to Boston, but I'm going to go up there when they're there. And he said, I go, at the end of the game, after they took Montgomery out, 6 innings, I guess, and he was stellar. They couldn't hit him, John. And the Phillies couldn't hit, and they can hit.
Yeah.
So, I said to him, I go, do you guys have a good middle relief and closer? And the son looked at me and goes, we got we got a good seventh inning man, eighth inning man, and we got a great closer. All three of them have a below 1 ERA. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah. And I go, I'm thinking, Tori, I'm going to text Tori. I'm going to, Tori, that's the manager for the Diamondbacks. Gives people a know. Get some hitters in the deadline. And you can make another run with those kind of guys. Yes, you can, because pitching takes over. If you can get to the seventh inning and you got a lead and those guys just bomb you out, and they did, by the way, they stopped the Phillies in the seventh, eighth, and ninth inning. And I want to talk about your ex guy, Jordan Montgomery, for a minute.
Well,
That's
I'm
been
Bob. I
said.
gotta go because this game starts in 2 minutes,
Okay, let's just
and
real fast.
I don't want to miss anything.
I,
So
I know. But don't forget, Cashman told us that Montgomery can't pitch in a big game. He's not a World Series winner and pitcher. He's not that good. We had to get rid of him. I love Cashman. Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, he keeps winning big games. And he won the World Series. You're right. He played really well in that World Series. So he's really a solid pitcher. He really is. Okay, I guess that's it because it's hockey time. And everybody, thanks for watching the show. This is a sports show with Bob Spino, and I'm Bob Spino, and this is my friend John Lavinia. And keep coming back, like, subscribe, and don't miss an episode because we tell the truth. We know everything that's going on, and we give it to you straight, not like everybody else. So please come back and watch us and tell everybody to watch us and like subscribe. Have a nice night, everybody.